Safe Haven is, it's really a movie about two people who end up, two broken people who have been through relationships that they thought were going to be, you know, the fairy tale ending. They didn't work out for whatever reason. And it's a movie about two people getting a second chance at love. And that's what I think the core of this movie is about, and that's what the fun of making this movie was in getting there, in finding the little moments, two people that aren't necessarily looking for it, who slowly realize that maybe this is the one for me. Well, Alex is a guy who's been sort of a shell of himself for the last couple of years after losing his wife. He's been raising these two children on his own, and sort of, you know, not only raising them on his own, but running the store and not really probably having dealt with the grief of her loss so well. And as a result, he's had some issues with his son. His daughter's maybe a little bit too young, but you know, it's a guy who doesn't necessarily know what the right thing to do is all the time, and he's learning as he goes. I think like most parents do. So when Katie sort of drops out of the sky, he doesn't really know what to make of that. And you know, it's not, obviously she's a beautiful girl, but it's not something you can just jump into. You know, he's got to make sure that that fit is okay with his kids, and how is that whole dynamic going to work. So there's a lot of other stuff to consider.
Katie has a huge arc. I think that's what fascinated me so much about her. I knew that it was going to be a challenge to play guarded, mysterious, and have a wall. I mean, it's like, how boring could you be? So how am I going to make Katie interesting and likable enough to where Alex would even consider, you know, falling in love with her, and vice versa. So yeah, there was a lot of layers to be had. You know, she's a fighter, and that's one thing that I loved about her. But behind every fighter, there is somebody who's a little bit broken, and I think that's why I definitely resonated with Katie. So.